let's start again with the involvement of your ex-husband. And it sounds like he was kind of a vindictive person.
He's very, very vindictive.
And he's actually had your kids removed from the home.
Yeah, but he thinks he's God. I still have a court document saying that I can have rights to see my kids, but he's ignoring it, and he moved them out of Austin, changed their schools, won't tell me where they live, won't let me speak to them on the phone, nothing. But that crushed me so bad, then I kind of fell off the deep end, and
So there's kind of a mental disconnect at one point, a type of, not a mental breakdown, but something like that, an emotional breakdown or something? Or
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I could see how that would definitely have a profound effect on all this. Yeah. Now, what about a lot of people these days are talking about a technology, the voice to skull, the V2K. Have you had that?
Yes, I have, and they've been, okay, so I've researched all of this stuff for years, and I've at first I read about that, but I was like, it's not really, it's not happening to me, I'm not going to look too much into it. But they've been hitting me with it really, really hard lately, and it's really it's really hard to deal with. So basically what they're doing is they are sending these voices into my brain, or however exactly the technology works, I'm not sure, but they're sending the sounds to me and only I can hear them, and it sounds like, say I'm at my parents' house and my family's there. Well, what I hear is my family talking crap about me and whispering and secretive and just conspiring, and that's
okay.
What I hear. And then the same thing goes everywhere I go. I hear these voices of whoever I'm with being secretive and trying to be sneaky and talking, and it's just
And do you see
really
their lips
weird.
moving? Are the people really talking, but you would normally not be able to hear what they say because they're whispering?
No, these people normally don't whisper, is the thing, but they're in the other room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so for any of the viewers that are not familiar with V2K, it's absolutely real. It's not science fiction at all.
Oh, yeah.
There's patents for this. It's a microwave technology.
And what it does is stimulate your brain to the point where it can cause you to be different moods. It can also cause it makes you almost. It creates this a psychosis.
From what I understand, it uses your skull as a resonant chamber. In other words, it's kind of using your skull as the speaker.
Well, that would make sense.
That's why nobody else can hear it.
Yeah. So whatever thoughts are in your subconscious, it's like bringing them up to surface in a way that they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're using wherever the people are with the propulsion system, I should say, that is putting the microwaves out to a person. They're putting the information of whatever words they want to ride on the microwave into the person's head.
Absolutely. And so when I was talking to Catalin Newport a couple weeks ago, he's indicating, in his opinion, there's a very strong AI, artificial intelligence aspect to this.
Yeah.
And if you think about it with the dialogue and all this negative dialogue, it would be too hard for people to sit there and make all that stuff up. It almost would just necessitate a super smart computer, to come up with all this bullshit.
You're right.
All this smack it's talking, From what I understand from a lot of different people's testimony and stuff like that, these voices, they're not usually saying anything too nice.
No, they definitely want, their goal is to, bring a person down.
Yeah.
So you're going to do that by being negative and make them question themselves and being paranoid and,
I think
just
I think
self-conscious.
The people that have gone killing people on a killing spree are probably products of that too. Because
Oh yeah, I'm definitely.
I think
I'm
so.
sure
Come on,
that all of this, everything that has to do with
that mixed with the
Gangstalking
pharmaceuticals.
is
One thing I'm
responsible.
concerned about is that some of these Facebook groups that we're all, members of, while they're doing a lot of good and raising awareness of this, they
Not
can
only
also
that,
be used to draw these.
Of course, that's the biggest fucking weapon, I think, is like creating groups
Yeah.
that's supposed to be helping people, and they do kind of on one level, but really secretly they're just there to like fucking.
How to draw them
They-
out,
Yeah.
You can't trust any of these groups that are out there, especially internet groups. They're usually sponsored by the fucking inside government, yet they're supposed to be revealing what the government does. How do you know which ones are? I don't know.
You don't.
You kind of tell though sometimes, but sometimes you can't.
All I do is try to, discern who is good and who's not, and take the good ones. There are good ones. There will be good
Oh
ones.
yeah. I guess.
It's just I have a pretty easy time finding out who isn't there to help people, because they jump on the you need to see a psychiatrist or
Of
do
course.
this and that
Yeah.
train really quick.
That's the last thing. And of course,
Or
you know
They
this.
want to push out prescription drugs. really
The
quick.
psychiatrist, that's the enemy. That's the last thing anyone needs to do is go see a psychiatrist. That's my opinion on psychiatrists.
Yeah, and so recently, so when all this stuff with them putting voices in my head, with everything going on with my family, I'm having a hard time figuring out if it's really all fabricated by these perpetrators, or if my family has really been drawn into it, because they've been acting really weird. And just the other day I got real upset, and I'm like, if you have eyes, all you have to do is look in the yard and you can see there's like a platoon in the damn trees of these people wearing these cloaking whatevers and suits, and my dad, he totally denies everything and just tells me I need to go see a psychiatrist. And I said, well, it seems like if you gave a shit, you would at least do a little research on it and into this stuff. And he says, well, you can find any darn whatever bullshit online. You can find whatever you want to support whatever you want. And that right there told me he was in on it. And so
We're getting a low indicator on the battery, so we got to take a break. Yeah. And so, you know your dad. I don't know your dad. But there's a million different things that are going into this. First of all, just the general level of, and we'll talk about this when the camera comes back on. Let's just take a break. But you know what I mean? The general level of fear of everyone anyway. With the big fake elections we just had and all, you know what I mean? Everyone's, because what I've found out in life is you can, kill somebody's wife, you can hang their kids, you can do whatever you want, and you can probably be okay. But if you go fucking with somebody's worldview, if you go fucking with somebody's belief system, they will get violent. They will resist. And so that's what we're talking about. Your testimony, your awakening, or whatever it is fucking with his worldview. And so he absolutely is not going to. So I definitely wouldn't recommend talking to him about any of this.
no, not anymore.
Definitely. In fact, I would even lie to him. Don't even tell him that you're feeling. You don't give him any information for weapons to use against
So you
you.
think that's what it is? You think it's just